Welcome once again to Human TV Africa. You are most welcome to Human TV Africa. This is Kato Mukasa, and of course in the studios, I am with Comrade Adams Bongole, who is our producer at HTV Africa. HTV Africa is a registered NPO, not-for-profit organization, with different studios across the world, and our target is to reach to you, to educate, to entertain, and to inform. We intend to educate, to inform, and to entertain. This is HTV, which is a registered charity, reaching out to you with the purpose of educating, informing, and entertaining. Now, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also our Facebook page, which is Humanist TV Africa. But also, to write to us, you can send us an email, and our email is info@humanisttvafrica.com. But also, our WhatsApp number is +254 74 73 56 767. Write to us again. Our email is info@humanisttvafrica.com. But also, our WhatsApp is +254 74 73 56 767. Our spokesperson will be able to talk with you, but also answer all your questions. You may want to work with us, you may want to volunteer with us, you may want to partner with us, you may want to work with us and open up a studio in your country. We are opening up studios in different countries. We have physical studios, but also we have virtual studios. Of course, we have virtual network. This is a television which you can get anywhere in the world by virtue of the internet. You can get us anywhere in the world. But also we have physical studios in Uganda, we have studios in Kenya, we have studios in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, and of course Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ghana. We also have studios in the UK and in the US. We are growing each day. Remember to subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. Please, you can always Google. Our name is Humanist TV Africa. Do not forget Humanist TV Africa. Africa is symbolically used because all of us are Africans. Therefore, Humanist TV Africa is for all of us. Today, as I told you, our interest is to educate, inform, and entertain. Educate, inform, and entertain is the main target of Humanist TV Africa. Now, today I want to talk about education system. This is episode 4, and the theme for today is time to overhaul the education system. I've been here talking about education system authoritatively because, of course, I'm educated. I have 3 degrees, I have several diplomas. Therefore, I'm educated. I'm a lawyer by training, but also I'm an economist by training. So, do I say education is bad? No, it's not bad. I'm proud because I went to school, but also I'm sad because there was a time when I was miseducated. There was a time when I was brainwashed right in the classroom. Now, this is where the education system needs an overhaul. That when you send their students, pupils, learners, do they learn or they are being programmed? Are they getting educated? Are they getting learned or they are passing through a school system? Those are different questions I want to ask yourself. When you send your child to school, do they learn something new? Do they learn something productive? Do they learn something that makes them think? And that is the most important question I ask you today. When you send your daughter to school, when you send your son to school, is your child learning? If your child is learning, what are they learning? Is it something that helps them to think deeply about the world, to ask questions, to be inquisitive, to be calculated, to be industrious, to be active, to be reasonable, to be humble, to be logical? Do they get these skills at school? Investigative skills, analytical skills. Does our educational system today teach people to be analysts, teach people to be thinkers outside the box, but also within the box? Or our education system simply programs learners to pass exams? I talk authoritatively about education and tell you that education, which I got in the classrooms, simply enabled me to pass exams. Simply enabled me to pass exams. The ability to think critically, I got it in the field. In fact, the mentors I've mentioned on my Facebook page, I've mentioned quite a number of mentors who taught me in the field. When I worked with international organizations, with world organizations, with international companies, I met mentors that taught me on the job, that taught me in the field. And my passing through the universities and secondary schools simply helped me to get a paper, a qualification to meet the mentors. Understand that. But my going through universities, because I've gone through 3 different universities in my education and several tertiary institutions. Now, my going through these institutions simply helped me to get a paper to present it to an institution to give me a job, and I meet teachers in those institutions. In other words, the real teachers I met, the real people who taught me things that are serious, that made me who I am, I never met them in the classroom, never. I met them in the field. It was my parents. They were my parents, my father, my mother. They were my first teachers. They were my grandparents. I always talk about my 2 grandparents, my 2 grandfathers, the father of my mother, the father of my father. Those are my primary teachers, main teachers, basic teachers who taught me the world, who taught me how to think. And then the people I found in the world, not in the classroom. So the question I ask you today is, do you think your child is learning in that school? Oh, the school is helping your child to pass exams. Look, I went to school. My record is clear. I got first grade throughout. I got first grade throughout. Distinctions much of the time. And I was best in all the schools I attended. At least basic schools, lower schools. And I excelled academically. Again, that. But I'm telling you that even with first class degrees, first class diplomas, I've got them, I still think I never learned anything new, anything very useful in the classroom. Never. In the law school, They were programming me to be a lawyer. That was it. Compassion, sympathy, analysis, passion, humbleness, fairness, equity, all those values I learned them in the field. Now, is your education system helping children to think? No. Your education system is helping children to pass exams and fit within an already corrupted system. I repeat that. Your education system is simply helping students to pass exams to fit within an already corrupted system. And make matters worse, what learners are studying in the classroom is already programmed, is already prepared. Therefore, they cannot study anything beyond what is on the syllabus. Learners are being taught lies in schools. And today, I'm going to show some of the lies which are being taught in schools. Religion is one of the number one lie taught to people in schools. Religion, I repeat, is one of the number one lie conspirators taught in the classroom. And they equip a young child, a young pupil, a young student with fear of imaginary things. They make them docile. Mental slavery starts in the classroom and goes up to the university. When I was doing my bar course to become an advocate, when you finish your degree in law, you have to go and do a bar course. So when I was doing my bar course to become an advocate, my tutors, my mentors in the postgraduate law school were blazingly religious, to the extent that some of them would demand that we say a prayer before we go to a moot court. How can you tell a lawyer to first say prayer before they go to a moot court? That is nonsense. A lawyer must think beyond fairy tales. A lawyer must be analytical. A lawyer must ask questions. And when I ask questions, they hated me. When I ask questions, when I challenged them, they hated me. But these are lawyers with degrees, with master's degrees, with PhDs. Are they thinking beyond the classroom? No. Now, the educational system must be overhauled, starting with what we teach our learners as facts. For example, religion is a lie. And all thinkers today know that religion is a man-made lie. Therefore, why do schools teach religion without allowing the teaching of humanism, without allowing the teaching of philosophy, without allowing the teaching of critical thinking skills? Why should students learn about Muhammad, about Allah, about Jesus, about God, without teaching them the alternative to God? Reason, science. Why don't you teach religion in comparison with humanism, critical thinking, so that the education is balanced? Why do you give a single story analysis to a learner? Join me today. I'm going to show you a few slides to justify why the education system must change. Because what they are teaching students is a lie. They are preparing them to serve a system they have made that makes them fear, that makes them serve certain entities. People study in fear. People started to compete and then go into a world where they cannot think beyond what they are being told. That's why I've told that even my lecturers in law school, many of them couldn't think beyond the law. They can't think beyond the law. And that is sad. Then take us through the slides we have prepared for today's talk. Look at this kind of diagram. The upper part shows you what students in Asia are studying. They are assembling a computer. They are learning hands-on. Look at the lower diagram or picture. A teacher in an African school is teaching students, pupils, parts of an insect. Hopeless. What does teaching mean? Parts of an insect. Help me. Parts of a fly. Students, pupils in Asia are learning hands-on how to make robots, how to repair computers, how to assemble stuff. Pupils in Africa are learning how the parts of an insect are. That's the education they are learning in Africa. Next, Dennis. Dennis, next photo, please. Look at that. Again, students, pupils in Asia are learning how to assemble stuff. They are making their own toys. They are making cars. They are making computers. They are hands-on. Students, pupils, children in Africa are being taught how to pray. Now, you know why Africa remains poor. They are conditioning our children to be dependent on a prayer, on mythology. Students, pupils in Asia are learning practical skills. Then let us continue. Now, these are religions. All these religions were brought to Africa by the colonizers. The Roman Empire, Emperor Constantine, and of course others, created Christianity in AD 325 and others. Now look at this. All these religions were created by these people. Man-made religions. These are religions being taught to our students. John Smith brought us the Baptist religion in 1608. Charles Parham created the Pentecostal religion in 1901. Joseph Smith gave us the Mormon religion in 1830. Charles Taze Russell gave us the Jehovah's Witnesses religion in 1833. A man called William Miller gave us the Seventh-day Adventist religion in 1853. Adventist religion was given to us by William Miller. All these are colonizers, by the way, giving us this religion. Now, Jane Francois Champollion gave us the Egyptology, and of course, coined it. Now, these are religions, these are thinkings given to us by a people who took over much of our continent and then gave us their own syllabus we can follow. And by the way, much of these countries today no longer follow the syllabus we are following in Africa. There's a problem. Then let us continue. Look at the teaching they are teaching in Africa. They will teach you about Jesus Christ and how he came down 2,000 years ago, the baby birth, the virgin birth, the miracles and all that. But they will not teach you about Horus, the equivalent of Jesus Christ, who was there 5,000 years ago before Jesus Christ. Horus did everything Jesus Christ did, but Horus was there 5,000 years ago, yet Jesus was there 2,000 years ago, which means Horus is older than Jesus Christ by 3,000 years. Now the question is, who copied from who? Therefore, why don't the teachers of education teach students that, look, there is Jesus Christ, but also there is Horus and other gods who came before Jesus Christ. Why are they teaching students only a single story in our schools. Why? It's mental slavery. They want to give you a single story to control your thinking, to program you. Then let us continue. Slavery, of course. I've been talking about slavery. I've been telling that actually the slave masters in Europe, in the US, used Jesus to colonize Africa, used Jesus to promote slavery. And of course, the slave ship, which took many of the slaves, was called Jesus. Now, how do you use a Jesus name and you put it in a ship to take people to suffer, to take people to death? Now, religion itself is a tool of colonialism. And as I've been telling you, is a tool of capitalism and mental slavery. Dennis, let us continue. Now, this is what I want people to understand about the education system promoting religion, especially in our schools. Now, people brought you religion, built their heaven on our land. The minerals, the resources, everything was taken by these people brought you religion. Then they told you that the heaven, the sky, heaven somewhere is yours. They are giving you the sky, they are giving you the heaven, then they're taking everything you have on your land. Now, that's the kind of education they're telling you. Even our children are being taught that their life, their better life is in heaven. They're forgetting everything on their land. They're forgetting everything on earth to focus on an imaginary heaven. That is what the education system does. Then let us continue. Religion, of course, I've been telling you, is the Latin word, a verb, which is religare, which means to tie back, to hold back, to start from forward progress to bind. A system of control based in unchallenged dogmatic belief, which holds back the progress of consciousness. This is what religion does in our schools, holding people back, not to be able to think consciously. We have a lawyer who thinks like a P1 child. You have a magistrate, you have a judge, you have a doctor who cannot think beyond the theater. No, that's the problem. Then let us continue. Heaven. They are giving you heaven in the schools, a powerful brainwashing tool created to make you forget your purpose on earth just to dream of a paradise that does not exist. They are giving you a heaven in their teaching in school to give you something imaginary, to brainwash you, to give you a paradise that does not exist. Change the educational system. Teach people the reality that there's no heaven. Their heaven is on earth, if it's there anyway. Then let us continue. And they are telling you you are the sheep. How do you know you are thoroughly brainwashed? When you are called a sheep and you are proud of that, instead of getting offended, someone calls you a sheep and you say, yes, I am a sheep. That's the education I'm talking about. People are made to believe in absurdities. Someone is called a sheep and is happy to be called a sheep. Then next, the Lord is not my shepherd, for I'm not a sheep. Very good. The Lord is not my shepherd, for I'm not a sheep. Teach this to students, to pupils, that they are not a sheep. Look at Africa, breeding pastors. Look at China, teaching engineers and doctors. As young as 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, they have doctors in China. As young as 17 years old. In Africa, we are churning out pastors. That is our educational system, because we are focusing on God. Look at this. A man living here in the upper part is a pastor, is an imam, is a religious person. And look at people who give money to this money up. They are living in the slums of Katanga, of Kibera in Nairobi, of Makere Chibuli in Uganda. They are living in slums, collecting their money to give to a pastor to become richer. That is the education system they are getting, because they are working for heaven, not for what belongs to them on earth. Then let's continue, please. Time. African problems that require technology will never be solved by theology. That's PRO, remember, and is right. African problems that require technology will not be solved by theology. Teach people technology. Teach people STEM, science, mathematics, entrepreneurship, and technology. Engineering and technology. Teach them STEM, not theology. Our problems won't be solved by theology. How can someone tell you he has a master's degree in theology, a doctorate in theology? Theology is the study of nothing. Theology is the study of zero. It's the study of air. It's the study of emptiness. Don't teach people theology. Teach them technology. Then let us continue. I want us to continue. Feeding Africa with religion instead of technology. It's the same message. Do not feed people in Africa with religion. Give them technology. Israel does not depend on religion to fight their wars. They are depending on technology. The Iron Dome is technology. It's not religion. It's not Yahweh protecting Israel. It's the technology. It's the guns. Teach people in Africa technology. Then let us continue. Change your thinking. Don't call yourself a Jew, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a spiritual. Call yourself a human being. Teach people to be humans again. Then let's continue, please. Continue, I want us to wind up. Weapons of mass destruction, of course, are the Bible, the Quran, and other books. Those are weapons of mass destruction. The Quran, the Bible. Why? They change your thinking. You think like a zombie. You can't think for yourself. Someone else is controlling your thinking capacity. Change the education system. Formal education can make you a living as a lawyer, for example, but self-education can make you a fortune. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Go out and look for knowledge yourself. Do not base on what they're teaching you in the schools. Educate yourself. Self-education is the way to go. Then let's continue. And finally, Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Africa, we teach togetherness. We teach love. We teach humility. We teach cooperation. We teach compassion. We teach fairness, equity. These are principles we must teach to people. Africa, Ubuntu, togetherness. These are the principles we must teach to people in Africa and all over the world. Capitalism is destroying everything. People think that money is the ultimate end. People think that making profits is the ultimate end. Having a big house, having a big car, having a big plantation, having so many servants, that is fun. That's the ultimate end. I don't think so. I don't think in capitalism anyway. And as a Marxist, I think that life matters when majority of people around you are happy. That is Ubuntu. That is togetherness. That is being happy as a community than being happy as an individual. Let us teach our children Ubuntu, love, compassion, less greed, cooperation, togetherness, unity, fairness, equity, accountability. Those are skills we should be teaching our children today, not competition, not greed. Capitalism breeds greed. Greed, people are competing for resources which can be enough for all of us. But everyone wants to be so much rich at the expense of everyone else. Teach people Ubuntu, fairness, equity, inclusiveness, love, compassion, less greed. Teach people to know that when others are developing, they also do better than being the only best person in the village. Create others to be better, just like you. This is why education system must change. And this is episode 4. I'll be back with episode 5. Remember to subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. And remember to send us an email at info@humanisttvafrica.com. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.